And I'm here with ABC7 contributor and Puente News collaborative reporter Luis Chaparro, who's also an expert on cartel activity in Mexico and right here in the United States. And he's here to bring us extra perspective on Zambada's case. Now, obviously, it's no secret that there's been extended violence over the last week in Sinaloa as Mayo Zambada's faction of the Sinaloa Cartel and the Chapitos are duking it out. We've seen violence in Los Mochis, in Guasave, Mazatlan, Culiacan. Do you think that some of this violence could spread to our borderland here in Juarez?
Sadly, I think there is a good chance that this violence reaches out to this border. As you know, and we all know, the Sinaloa Cartel has been fighting the Juarez Cartel locally here in Ciudad Juarez for many, many years. So they probably want to seize the moment. I'm talking about the Juarez Cartel, right? They're seeing the Sinaloa Cartel weakened. So they might want to seize the moment and try to take advantage of the situation.
No, I hear you. And also through your connections and experience, do you think that La Línea, as mentioned, or the Juarez Cartel will obviously, you know, we could return to what we saw between 2009 and 2012. That's the scary thing for anybody from El Paso, that we don't want to see that type of violence where at one time they were averaging 8 murders a day.
I don't think we're going to see that amount of violence because back then there was two factions, strong factions fighting each other, right? Right now, one of these factions is not as strong as before. And if La Línea or the Juarez Cartel tries to take over, I'm guessing the violence is going to go first against law enforcement who might be cooperating with some of these cartels.
As we saw from 2009 to 2012 during that time. And with the new, with the Jalisco New Generation Cartel that has a bit of an imprint here in the Juarez area and such, they've obviously formed alliances in the past with either Mayo Zambada's faction of the Sinaloa Cartel or also with the faction of the Sinaloa Cartel headed up by the Chapitos. Do you see that coming into play in any way?
I don't think the Jalisco New Generation Cartel is going to create more violence in Ciudad Juarez. I think they have strong financial structure in Ciudad Juarez through La Línea or through the Juarez Cartel, but not really like the henchmen or the sicarios like they have in other places. I think we're going to see some of that violence related to the CJNG cartel in other places like Chiapas or even Tijuana, but probably not here in this
Perhaps
country.
Trying to seize Sinaloa Cartel territory?
Exactly, yes. I think that's what's going to happen in those other places, yeah.
Okay, and then finally, as for the case of Joaquin Guzman Lopez, Chapo Guzman's son, since there are reports that he turned in Mayo Zambada along with himself, is he working out a plea deal in your mind through your connections for him and perhaps his brothers?
Both of them, both of the Guzman Lopez are already collaborating with the U.S. authorities. That's what my sources are telling me. Even though they're attorneys, they still say no, because if they say publicly that they are cooperating, the deal might be off, right? But since day one, since the day they arrived here in Santa Teresa, El Mayo, and Joaquin Guzman Lopez, he started breaking a deal with prosecutors here in the U.S.
And Mayo Zambada's lawyers have been firm in issuing letters to the media and everybody in Mexico as well as here that he was quote unquote kidnapped as well, right?
Exactly. Like they still sustain the version that he was kidnapped and that he was taken, that they're not gonna break any deal with prosecutors. But I think that's also procedural. I think we're gonna be seeing a deal in the further future. Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you once again to Luis Chaparro. Of
Paul.
course, he's an expert with cartel activity, mafioso type activity right here in the U.S. and of course in Mexico as well. Steph?
All right, Paul, thank you. And you can download the KVIE News